All right, hello everybody. So today we're doing a very special episode dedicated to our pets. So I have a lot of pets. So I have 2 Sunpreneurs, 2 cats. They're street cats actually that just showed up on my doorstep. And then my husband has a Huskador. And so I was like, why not do an episode dedicated to little desserts and treats they'll like? And so that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do one treat for dogs, and then we're also gonna do a treat for cats a little bit later on. But let's go on and start with our yummy pup cakes. So these particular pup cakes are gonna involve having pumpkin, masa harina, peanut butter. We're gonna be putting cheese in there, bacon, everything a dog's gonna like. So let's go on and get started, Joe. So we're gonna go on and mix in our peanut butter. That's right, with our pumpkin. Now you can also, by the way, you can also, if you prefer, use bananas. But quite frankly, I wasn't thrilled about the idea of bananas. I'm pretty sure that Tango, that's our Huskador, is not gonna like bananas. He is actually very picky. He actually acts a lot like a poodle. Like there's a lot of things he just won't eat. He doesn't like his feet getting wet. He's very high maintenance. Anyway, so you can go in and add in your eggs right now. And we're just gonna be hand mixing this. So it's really simple. You can just hand mix it all in. It's a very easy recipe. Go on and get going, babe. That's right, you can go in and hand mix that in. We're just gonna give that a good stir to make sure everything is incorporated. If you'd like, you can use a whisk if that's a little easier for you. But we're just gonna give it a quick mix, and then just as long as it's incorporated, you can no longer see those egg yolks or egg whites, you're good to go. So now what we're gonna go in and put in, once he's done with this part, is we're gonna go on and add in our oil, a bit of honey, the masa harina we already talked about. We're also gonna add in our baking powder. You always need a leavening agent, and obviously because this is going to be a small little cupcake, and these are gonna be mini cupcakes, by the way, so cute. We need to make sure this goes in there so that those can rise. So all right, you're good, that's looking really great. So now my husband is going to go in and add in the oil. You're gonna add in everything else, babe, including the water right there.
Perfect.
So this is very, very simple and very easy. We're gonna go in and get that going, perfect. And if you would like to omit the honey or add a little less, feel free.
Am I putting this in?
Yeah, that is, you're gonna put all of that in. Feel free to do that. You don't have to have that in if you feel like that's something your dog is not gonna really care for. You can just set that aside. And that's the masa harina. Now the original recipe with this did not call for masa harina. It called for flour. Well guys, I was like, I think my dog would prefer masa harina. So that's what I went on and used. By the way, I constantly substitute. If I feel like something doesn't work, I'll think about it, tweak it, work it until that recipe is perfect. And this one is great. So there we go.
So what is masa harina? Is it a type of flour?
Masa harina is actually what's used to make tortillas. So that's what I use instead. It's just cornmeal, guys. It's very finely ground cornmeal, so not quite like the fish meal that you might use to fry your fish in. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit of a finer texture. So we went on and used that. Stir it. You go and stir that until it doesn't have lumps. Let's see my husband using his muscles. Hopefully he doesn't break a sweat, guys. All right, that's looking really good. Just want to make sure all those lumps are gone. And so we're also, after he's done with this part, we're going to be moving on to make this amazing little potato icing, which I was like, wow, this is interesting. Now the original recipe that I had did not call for bacon bits or cheese, but I'm like, what dog doesn't like bacon and cheese? So I decided to add that in. It's just one piece of bacon that I cooked. You can cook it in the microwave or the oven until it's crisp and then broke down into pieces. But dogs love cheese and they love bacon, and I felt like this was an additional little treat for them when they get their pup cake. And so this recipe is actually great for if your dog has a little birthday. We have a client that has a dog that's having a birthday party, and I'm gonna be making some of these for her. All right, looks good, Joe. Go on and stir in that sharp cheddar cheese. That's about half a cup to 3/4 of a cup, guys.
Bacon
and then
also?
that bacon, yeah. We're gonna stir that in. That's right. And if you wanna, like I said, if you feel like, oh, my dog doesn't need bacon, that's cool, guys. You can either omit it if you prefer, or if you want, you can put in turkey bacon, you know, get creative. All right, looks good.
What happens if my dog is a vegan?
Well, dogs aren't vegans. Dogs are carnivores. That is not possible. So now people can try to turn their dogs into vegans, but dogs are not vegans. Dogs need meat. That's what they need. It contains the protein they need. So somebody out there is probably pissed that I said that, but it's just true, guys. Sorry. All right, so that's looking good. All right, perfect. All right, Joe, we can go in and set that aside. And what we're gonna be doing next, we're gonna go on and make our icing, which contains potatoes. So we'll get to that in just a moment. And all right. So now we're gonna move on to going in and putting our cute little pup cakes inside of a tin. Now, originally I thought about doing a standard size cupcake, which is the size cupcake you see in stores. But I was like, no, a dog does not need that much cupcake. Now, you can do it at home if you want, but I went on and decided to use these mini cupcake pans. So he's got these little liners, really super cute. And so I'm gonna go in and get that going. We're gonna pop these in the oven at 350 degrees, and we're gonna bake them for around 15 minutes or so. And then we're gonna take them out and cool them. So while I'm doing this part, Joe is gonna move on to making our frosting. And our frosting consists of potatoes. And we're gonna put that in our food processor. This is our sour cream. We have a bit of honey. We have water. And then this right here are adorable little bones that we're gonna use as our toppers on our pup cakes. It's gonna be so cute, guys.
Can I put all that at the same one time?
Joe is doing this as a dump job. So you're gonna put it on all at once. And he's gonna go on and get that going, and I'm gonna do this part right now. So when we come back, we are gonna go in and start making our kitty treats. And then once we're done with that, we'll bring everything out and we'll frost these wonderful little pup cakes. All right, we are back. Our pup cakes have cooled, and we'll get back to those in a moment. Meanwhile, we're gonna be making our yummy cat treats, and they are yummy actually. So in it, we have masa harina, again, that's showing up. We have our tuna fish. We have some white rice that is fully cooked. We have some catnip, that's gonna make them go nuts. I call it kitty weed at the house, because you know what I'm talking about. They go crazy. And then we have some water, some eggs, and this right here, I believe is a little bit of oil. It is oil. All right, guys, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all those wet ingredients and we're gonna put them in our tuna. And you can just use vegetable oil or olive oil, or whatever you have. Our recipes are always gonna be available at cupcakefairy.com. You just click the link and all the exact recipes and the directions will be there. So Joe is stirring that together. Just make sure your egg yolk disappears in there when you're doing that. That's really the most important. But this is a pretty basic and easy recipe. And then we're gonna show you a way to make it much easier to roll it out. Because when I put these in the test kitchen, I found I had a little bit of a challenge trying to press them out so that they were mostly evenly thin all the way around. So I have my little tool, i.e. my stemless wine glass, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do it in a way that's really easy. All right, looks good. So Joe's got that all mixed up. So we're gonna go on and put that in there. Actually, go on and put your rice in there too. So you can dump in the rest of your ingredients, including your catnip. And catnip is optional. So if you don't wanna put it in or you don't have it for whatever reason, don't worry about it. So you can go in and dump all of those ingredients in at one time. Because it's super easy. Look at that. Look at your kitty dessert coming together. So there we go. And we're just gonna mix that in really well. Perfect. And it's gonna be pretty thick, by the way. So don't be nervous when it comes out super thick. It is thick, but it's okay. That's perfect. That's when you know it's right. So this is looking really good. All right, and you just want to make sure all those dry ingredients are well incorporated. You're going to notice that this recipe actually doesn't call for any leavening. And the reason why is because we don't want those to rise at all. It's really sort of like a cracker. So it's going to be pretty dry. And just keep in mind that when these do come out of the oven and they're nice and dry and nice and cooked, that you are going to put them in an airtight bag. And just to be safe, I put them in the fridge because these do contain tuna. So I would put those in the fridge. They stay good for a long time. You can also put them in a vacuum sealed bag. So that's also great. That's a great tool. If you have one of those, I'd use it. So all right, we're looking good. Joe, go in there with your hands. And while Joe is doing that, I'm gonna go in and get started on icing my pup cakes here. So I have my frosting right here. And you see we have these adorable little bones. And so we're gonna go in and use our potato frosting and go in and get going here. And I just took a icing bag and I cut a hole And the tip, as you can see here, we're just gonna do some really simple dollops here, nothing fancy. There we go. Perfect. Super cute. And what dog doesn't like mashed potatoes? And this just has, you can either use yogurt or sour cream in this. Doesn't really matter. When you see the recipe, you'll see what I'm talking about. You can use either one of those interchangeably. Makes it nice and creamy. Just dollop that on. Now what you can do is, if you feel like, oh, I don't want to serve them all at once, don't only put the icing on the ones that you want to serve. And then the other ones you can pop in the fridge or even in the freezer. And look at this, guys. Oh my gosh. Super cute. So yeah, we can put this on there as our little adorable topper for our pup cakes. And then when they have their little get together with all their pup friends,
It's just looking pretty good.
everybody can get a treat. It looks great. All right, perfect. So let me set these aside and I'm gonna show you guys how we're going to get this on the pan. So first we're gonna go on and prepare our pan with our non-stick cooking spray. Just give it a quick spritz. Make sure it's nicely prepared. There we go. Don't want those sticking. All your hard work. So Joe, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go in and pop that in there. That's right, get all your good pieces. And let me take that for you. There we go. Thank you. And so what we're gonna do is this. We are actually going to start flattening it. We're gonna start out flattening it with our hands. So go in and do that, babe. This is actually a great, you know, I'm always down for kids being in the kitchen because this teaches them how to cook, it teaches them measurements, it teaches them how to do things and take care of not only pets, but people. So this is a nice way to start showing them how to take care of the pets and the people that they care about by baking things for them. So this is great to get your kids involved. So now that Joe has gotten this nicely rolled out, it gets a little annoying during this part. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our parchment paper or wax paper. It doesn't have to be parchment. A lot of people have wax paper, but they don't have parchment. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll that out to roughly 1/3 of an inch thick. You're gonna roll that out. It's probably not, so this is a half sheet pan. It's probably not gonna cover the entire pan. It's gonna cover a portion of it, and that's fine. If you have a smaller pan, it probably will cover your entire pan. Like this pan is small. So if you were to put it in something like this, it will probably cover the entire circumference of your pan. All right, so we're gonna roll that out nice and thin. 1/3 of an inch thick. Looks good. And your oven needs to be around 350 degrees, and these are gonna bake for 12 to 15 minutes. And then after that, you're gonna take them out and we'll cut them into pieces, and then we're gonna pop them back in the oven for an additional 8 minutes so they can bake the rest of the way through. Let's see, Joe, how are we looking? Looks pretty good, guys. I think we're looking good here, so we're gonna get ready to pop these in the oven. Looking great. All right, so you just wanna make sure that your cat treat is as even as possible. So if once you roll it out with this, it's still a little thin in places, just put it together and sort of gather it together with your hands and make sure it's as even as it possibly can be. And now we're gonna go in and get ready to pop this in our 350 degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes. And when we come back, we'll be cutting these up and getting them ready. All right, so we are back and our kitty treats have come out of the oven. So this is just the first stage of baking, but I want to show you how to cut these. So we're gonna just cut these like this while they're still soft, guys. You want to make sure they're still soft. Cut through these like that. And be careful because, you know, I'm sure your knife is sharp and we don't want you cutting your hand, but just make sure to sort of cut it like this. And then we can just break these into some little pieces. Just bite-sized pieces for your cat. They don't need to be super big. Sort of think the size of your kitty treats that you get out of the store. And then we're gonna rebake these. We're gonna put these back in the oven for another, like I said, 8 minutes or so, maybe even 10, just to make sure they're good and hard. And just don't forget to make sure that you put these in an airtight container and pop them in your fridge or even vacuum seal them. And so that's it. We're gonna pop these back in the oven. Meanwhile, we have all of our treats that are already ready. This is giving you an idea. This is our gorgeous little pup cakes here. We got our kitty treats in the center. And the good thing about these treats is you know exactly what is in these treats. It's not some mystery meat or something like that that's in a packaged cat treat. No, you know what it is because you put it in there, and you can feel good about knowing you sourced your own ingredients and made your own dessert for your pet. So guys, thank you for watching this today. I'm sure your pets are gonna really enjoy it. I know mine are. Don't forget to take your little liner off before giving it to your pup. And yeah, thanks for joining us, and I hope your pets enjoy this.